Tropical storm Nate killed at least 22 people in Central America on Thursday as it pummeled the region with heavy rain. Nate is heading toward Mexico's Caribbean resorts in the U.S. Gulf Coast, where it could strike as a hurricane this weekend. In Nicaragua, at least 11 people died, 7 others were reported missing and thousands had to evacuate homes because of flooding. Emergency officials in Costa Rica reported that at least 8 people were killed due to the pounding rain, including 2 children. Another 17 people were missing, while more than 7,000 had to take refuge from Nate in shelters. Juan Carlos Ulit Reuters' house is ruined by a mudslide during Tropical Storm Nate in San Jose, Costa Rica. 2 youths also drowned in Honduras due to the sudden swell in a river, while a man was killed in a mudslide in El Salvador and another person was missing, emergency services said. Sometimes we think we can cross a river, and the hardest thing to understand is that we must wait, Nicaragua's Vice President Rosario Murillo told state radio, warning people to avoid dangerous waters. It's better to be late than not to get there at all. Costa Rica's government declared a state of emergency, closing schools and all other non-essential services. Highways in the country were closed due to mudslides, and power outages were also reported in parts of country, where authorities deployed more than 3,500 police. Oswaldo Rivas Reuters. A woman walks on the shore of the Misachapa River on the outskirts of Nicaragua. Juan Carlos Ulit Reuters. Dogs peer over the ledge of a collapsed road in El Llano de Alajuelitas, Costa Rica. The Miami-based National Hurricane Center (NHC) said Nate could produce as much as 15 inches in some areas of Nicaragua, where schools were also closed. Nate is predicted to strengthen into a Category 1 hurricane by the time it hits the U.S. Gulf Coast on Sunday, NHC spokesman Dennis Feltgen said. At about 11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time 0300 GMT, Nate was some 95 miles east-southeast of the Honduran island of Guanaja, moving northwest at 12 miles per hour, the NHC said. Blowing maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour, Nate was expected to move across eastern Honduras on Thursday and enter the northwestern Caribbean Sea overnight. In Tehuacan via Getty Images, residents watch the swollen floodwaters of the river Misachapa. The storm will be near hurricane intensity when it approaches Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula late on Friday, where up to 8 inches of rain were possible, the NHC said. Nate is expected to produce 6 to 10 inches of rain in southern Honduras, with up to 15 inches in some areas, the NHC said. The NHC said a hurricane watch was issued from Morgan City, Louisiana, to the Mississippi-Alabama border, including metropolitan New Orleans, Lake Pontchartrain, and Lake Maurepas. U.S. officials from Florida to Texas told residents on Thursday to prepare for the storm. A state of emergency was declared for 29 Florida counties and the city of New Orleans. The threat of the impact is increasing, so folks along the northern Gulf Coast should be paying attention to this thing, the NHC's Feltgen said. In Mississippi, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency plans to release as a precautionary measure 40 million gallons, 151 million liters of acidic water from storage ponds at a Pascagoula waste site. The release to a drainage bayou is intended to prevent a greater spill during the storm, the EPA said, adding, there are no anticipated impacts to the environment. Major Gulf of Mexico offshore oil producers including Chevron, BP plc, ExxonMobil Corp., Royal Dutch Shell plc and Statoil were shutting in production or withdrawing personnel from their offshore Gulf platforms, they said. About 14.6% of U.S. Gulf of Mexico oil production and 6.4% of natural gas production was offline on Thursday, the U.S. Department of the Interior's Bureau of Safety and Environmental Enforcement said.